In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet this easy ruffle hat. This tutorial is beginner friendly and I'll be showing you step by step on how you're going to construct this for different sizes and how you're going to achieve a snug look and the fuller ruffles. So stay with me until the end, and if you have not subscribed, remember to subscribe to my channel and you can also join my membership. So let's get into the materials we're going to use. For this project, I'm going to use these two colors of yarn. This is a Kenyan brand called Robin and it's 100% acrylic. This is a thin yarn, so I'll be using two strands held together to achieve the thickness for medium weight yarn. I'll be using the brown for the body and the crown, and I'll be using the off-white to make the ruffles. I'll be needing 2 balls of the off-white and 2 balls of the brown, and each weighs 50 grams. If you have any medium weight yarn, please use that. And for the hooks, I'll be using 2. I'll be using a 3.5 millimeter for the crown and the body, and then I'll be using a 4.5 millimeter for the ruffles. But you can use a bigger hook. And then the other materials, I'm leaving them on the screen. And to begin with our crown, we're going to start by making a magic ring. And to make a magic ring, you're going to take your yarn and then you're going to wrap it around your index finger, then hold it with your thumb and your middle finger like this. And then you're going to take your 2 fingers, go from up, down, and then twist the yarn to form this circle. And then you're going to take your 3.5 millimeter crochet hook from up into the circle, and then you're going to grab your yarn from up and then pull it through the circle. And then you're going to chain 1 to secure the magic ring. And like that, you have done our magic ring. Next, to begin round 1, you're going to chain 1 more to have a total of 2 chains, which do not count as a stitch. And into our magic ring, we are going to place 10 double crochets. And to do a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have a total of 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And that's how we do our first double crochet. And you can place a stitch marker to mark this as your first stitch. So to do a double crochet again, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have a total of 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through 2, then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. And that's how you do a double crochet. And once you're done, we are going to keep placing the remaining double crochets into the magic ring to have a total of 10 double crochet. And remember, the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So once you have a total of 10 double crochets into the magic ring, next we are going to close this magic ring. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold your last stitch like this, and then you're going to pull this tail tightly, but don't break it. And once it's totally closed, we are going to finish this round by slip stitching into the top of our first double crochet stitch. So you're going to go under the V, then yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. And then you're going to tighten that slip stitch to avoid counting that as a stitch. And like that, you're done with round 1 and you should have a total of 10 double crochets. Next, to begin round 2, we're going to start by chaining 2. And remember, this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And into the same stitch we chain 2 here, we are going to do an increase by placing 2 double crochets into that same stitch. So 1 and 2 double crochets into that stitch. And once you're done, into the next stitch, you're going to do the same thing. We're going to do an increase. That means placing 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And then you're going to keep repeating this pattern all around until the end of the round. At the end of the round, you should have a total of 20 stitches. And to finish off this round, we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch. So you're going to go under the V, then yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through the loop on your hook. And then remember to tighten your slip stitch every time you finish a round. And like that, we are done with round 2. And to begin round 3, we are going to start by chaining 2 as usual. And this does not count as a stitch. And in this round, into our first stitch we chain 2 here, we are going to place 1 double crochet. And once you're done placing your first double crochet into your first stitch, into the next stitch you're going to do an increase, and that means placing 2 double crochets into that second stitch. And we are going to repeat this same pattern. So into the next stitch you're going to place 1 double crochet, and then followed by an increase into the next one. So this is the pattern we are going to repeat. We are going to start by placing 1 double crochet into the first stitch, then followed by 2 double crochets into the next one. And you're going to alternate that until the end of the round. At the end of the round, you should finish with an increase into your last stitch, and you should have a total of 30 stitches. And to finish off the round as usual, we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch. And then remember to always tighten your slip stitch. And like that, we are done with round 3. To begin round 4, we are going to start by chaining 2. And remember, this does not count as a stitch. And in this round, into our first stitch, we chain 2 here. We are going to place 1 double crochet. Followed by 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then into our third stitch, we are going to do an increase. So we are going to repeat the same pattern, 1 double crochet each into the first 2 stitches, and then an increase into our third stitch. So what we are going to do is you're going to repeat this pattern of placing 1 double crochet each into the first 2 stitches, and then an increase into a third stitch all around until the end of the round. At the end of round 4, you should have a total of 40 stitches. And to finish off the round, we are going to do the usual by slip stitching at the top of your first double crochet stitch, then tighten your slip stitch, and like that we're done with round 4. To begin round 5, we are going to start by chaining 2. By now you know that. And then in this round, into our first stitch, we chain 2 here. We're going to place 1 double crochet, then 1 double crochet each into the next 2 stitches, and then into our 4th stitch we should do an increase, and that means 2 double crochets into that 4th stitch. So this is the pattern you're going to repeat. You're going to place 1 double crochet each into the first 3 stitches, and then an increase into our 4th stitch. So you're going to repeat this pattern of placing 1 double crochet each into the first 3 stitches, and then an increase into the 4th stitch all around until the end of the round. At the end of round 5, you should have a total of 50 stitches. And to finish off the round, we are going to do the usual thing. We are going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch. And then remember to always tighten your slip stitch once you're done. And like that, we are done with round 5. To begin round 6, start by chaining 2. And in this round, into our first stitch with chain 2, we are going to do 1 double crochet in there, followed by 1 double crochet each into the next 3 stitches. Once you have a total of 4 double crochets into our 5th stitch, we are going to do an increase by placing 2 double crochets into that same stitch. And once you're done, we're going to repeat the same pattern of placing 1 double crochet each into the first 4 stitches, and then an increase into our 5th stitch. So do that. So we are going to repeat the pattern of placing 1 double crochet into the first 4 stitches, and then an increase into our 5th stitch all around. I meet you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of round 6 and I have a total of 60 stitches. And to finish off the round as usual, we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch, then tighten the slip stitch. And like that, we are done with round 6. To begin round 7, we are going to start by chaining 2. And then into the same stitch we chain 2, we are going to place 1 double crochet. And then 1 double crochet each into the next 4 stitches. So once you have 5 stitches, next we are going to do an increase into our 6th stitch. And you can see where the increases are done from the previous rounds. So once you're done, this is the pattern you're going to repeat. We are going to place 1 double crochet each into the first 5 stitches, and then we're going to do an increase into our 6th stitch. So do that. So you're going to repeat this pattern of placing one double crochet each into the first 5 stitches and then doing an increase into your 6th stitch all around. I meet you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of the round and I have a total of 70 stitches. And to finish off the round, as usual, we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch and then tighten our slip stitch. And like that, we are done with round 7. To begin round 8, we are going to start by chaining 2 like the previous rounds. And into the same stitch we chained 2 here, we are going to place 1 double crochet. Then 1 double crochet each into the next 5 stitches. And once you've worked into 6 stitches, make sure you count them. Into our 7th stitch, we are going to do an increase. So this is the pattern we are going to repeat. We are going to place 1 double crochet each into the first 6 stitches and then an increase into our 7th stitch. So do that. So once you're done, you should have something like this. So we are going to repeat this pattern of placing 1 double crochet each into the first 6 stitches and then an increase into our 7th stitch all around, and I meet you at the end of the round. At the end of round 8, you should have 80 stitches, and then you're going to finish the round as usual. And remember to tighten your slip stitch. And for my medium head size, I'm going to stop at round 8. For smaller size, I recommend you stop at round 7. So when you measure this, it measures 6.5 inches, and that's what I'm working with. For the large adult size, you're going to do one more round so that you can get to 7 inches. So I'm going to leave round 9 on the screen so that you can repeat that pattern to be able to achieve the crown that we are working with for the large adult size. For the medium and small adult size, you're going to move to the body. And once you're done for the large one, you're going to join us at the body. So to begin round 8, 9 or 10, depending on the size that you worked with, you're going to start by chaining 2. And into the same stitch we chained 2 here, we are going to place 1 double crochet. And then we're going to place 1 double crochet into each stitch around until the end of the round. So in this round, we are not doing any increases. We're just going to place 1 double crochet each. So do that. I meet you at the end of the round. At the end of round 9, for my size, you should have 80 stitches, and to finish off the round, we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet to finish off. And remember to always tighten a slip stitch at the end of the round. And like that, we're done working on round 9 or 8 or 10 for the body, and as you can see, it's starting to curve like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep repeating round 9. That means placing 1 double crochet into each stitch around until you get the number of rounds that measures 7 inches long. So this is what I'm talking about. So when you measure from the tip of your crown here up to the round you're going to stop, it should be measuring 7 inches long. So you're going to repeat round 9 until you get to 7 inches long. That's an ideal adult size length. So for me, I did a total of 17 rounds, and when I measure this, it measures up to 7 inches long, as you can see here, and this is our height. So remember, the number of rounds you're going to do will depend on your tension, the type of yarn, and the hook size that you used. So you might do more rounds or less rounds to get to 7 inches, or you might do the same for my size. So once you get 7 inches, next I'm going to show you what we are going to do to set the base for our ruffles. So next, what we are going to do is we are going to set the base for our ruffles. We are going to do a decrease to have that snug look that we're talking about. So to begin, we're going to start by chaining 1, and then into that same stitch we chain 1. We are going to place 1 single crochet there, and remember to place a stitch marker to mark this as our first single crochet stitch. And then into the next stitch you're going to also place 1 single crochet, and once we are done, we are going to do a decrease into our 3rd and 4th stitch. And to do a single crochet decrease, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, then insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have a total of 3 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops. And that's how you do a single crochet decrease. And once you're done, you're going to place 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the next one, and then into our 3rd and 4th stitch you're going to do a decrease. And to do a single crochet decrease, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, then insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have a total of 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops. And that's how you do a single crochet decrease. And then you're going to repeat that same pattern of placing 1 single crochet each into the first 2 stitches, and 2, and then into our 3rd and 4th stitch we're going to do a decrease. So we are going to keep repeating this pattern all around until you reach the end of the round. And at the end of the round you're going to have a different number of stitches for different sizes. So I'm at the end of the round, and I'm going to do a decrease into the last 2 stitches. So you should finish with a decrease, and then we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first single crochet stitch to finish off the round. We are going to chain 1 and then cut off the rest of the yarn, since we are done working with this brown yarn. And at the end of the round you should have 60 stitches for the medium sized one. For the large size you should have a total of 70 stitches, and for the small one a total of 50 stitches. So next you're going to start working on our ruffles, and we're going to introduce the off-white color, and then we're going to use a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook to make the ruffles. And remember, you can use a bigger hook. And to begin, we are going to attach this off-white yarn into any of the single crochet stitches. So you're going to look for any single crochet stitch and then attach your off-white yarn there. And then we are going to chain 2. And remember, this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And in this round, we are going to place 4 double crochets into each stitch around. So into the stitch we chain 2 here, we are going to place 4 double crochets. So once you're done placing 4 double crochets into your first stitch, next we are going to place 4 double crochets into the next stitch. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep repeating this pattern of placing 4 double crochet into each stitch around. I'll meet you once you're done. I'm done working on round 1 of the ruffles, and this is how they look like. So you should have something like this too. And to finish off this round, we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch. And always remember to tighten your slip stitch. And like that, we are done with round 1, and this is how it looks like. And to begin round 2, we are going to start by chaining 2. And remember, this doesn't count as a stitch. And in this round, we are going to place 3 double crochets into each stitch around. So into the same stitch we chain 2 here, we are going to place 3 double crochets. And once you're done, into the next stitch, we are going to place 3 double crochets too. And then you're going to keep repeating this pattern of placing 3 double crochets into each stitch around. I'll meet you once you're done. This will take some time, but be patient and you can take breaks in between. So after some time, I'm done working on round 2 of the ruffles, and this is how they look like. And to finish off the round as usual, we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch. And once you're done, this is how your ruffle should be looking like so far. Next, we are going to start round 3, and to begin, we are going to chain 2. And in this round, we're going to repeat the same thing we did for round 2. So into the first stitch we chain 2, we are going to place 3 double crochets. And once you're done, into the next stitch, you're going to place 3 double crochets too. And then you're going to keep repeating this pattern of placing 3 double crochet into each stitch around. I'll meet you once you're done. This will take more time, more than what it took to make round 2. And remember, you can take breaks in between. You can hydrate, watch a movie, or listen to music. So keep repeating this pattern. I'll meet you back in once I'm done working on mine. So after some time, this is what I have once I'm done working on round 3 of the ruffles, and you should have something like this. I've already joined this round and also cut off the rest of the yarn because I'm not going to use this off-white yarn anymore. And if you don't have this kind of ruffles, maybe you made a mistake or you didn't place 3 double crochets into each stitch to achieve this kind of ruffles. So once you have the same thing as mine, we are going to move to the next round. To begin round 4, we are going to reattach the brown yarn that we used for our crown and body. So to begin, we are going to start by making a slip knot. And then we are going to attach this yarn into any of the double crochet stitches. You're just going to go under the V of any double crochet stitch, and then you're going to do a single crochet stitch. And remember to carry along the tail of yarn like that, and then you finish your single crochet. So this counts as our first single crochet stitch. And then we are going to place one single crochet into the next stitch. And then you're going to keep placing one single crochet into each stitch around. And remember, your stitch should not be too loose, not too tight. Make sure your single crochet stitch is moderate. Don't make it too tight or too loose. I'm going to repeat that. And remember to carry along the tail of yarn. And if you feel like your stitches are too tight with the hook that you're using, you can upsize your hook from 4.5 to 5 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, so you're going to place one single crochet all around. I'll meet you once you're done. This will take a lot of time, so be patient, and I meet you once I'm done making mine. So after some time, I'm done working on round 4, and this is how the ruffles are looking like so far. You can see they're full, and this brown color adds some beautiful, how can I say, it makes the ruffles more beautiful and appealing. So once you're done, you're going to slip stitch into the top of your first single crochet stitch to finish this round. And then you can chain one, and you're going to leave some tail of yarn and then cut off the rest of the yarn. And then fasten off, and like that, we're done working on round 4. So this is how your ruffle should be looking like, and hope you have the same thing as mine. And if you don't, please just check where you made a mistake. So next, we are going to weave in our loose ends, and I'm going to show you how you're going to do the one at the crown. So to begin, you're going to thread your loose end into your darning needle like this, and then you're going to observe what I'm going to do. Just observe, because I can't explain this. And once you're satisfied, you're going to cut off the rest of the loose end, and like that, you're going to repeat the same thing to weave in all the loose ends that you have, and then I meet you back. So I'm done weaving in all my loose ends, and this is how it looks like when it's worn. Thank you so much for crocheting with me today. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you're proud of what you made. If you're new to my channel, remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, since I'll be dropping more top tutorials henceforth. And if you're going to make this, I would love to know which color combinations you're going to use for yours. Until next time, remember to stay kind and stay creative.